You're tuning in to the Camp W podcast. Here's your host, Director Evan Wofsy.
Welcome to the Camp W podcast, where we have conversations about camp. I'm your host, Evan Wofsy, Director of Camp W, and today we are talking with Christy Eager, a middle camp director. We are so excited to have Christy here with us today. Christy, good morning.
Good morning.
It's so great to see you. Christy, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your role here at Camp W?
So, hi everyone. My name is Christy. As Evan said, I'm the middle camp division head, previously a middle camp head counselor. This will be my third summer at Camp W. My first summer, I was the second grade head counselor for the Willows. And then I moved up with my girls and I became the third grade head counselor for the Wildflowers. As head counselor for both groups, I was responsible for 12 to 15 girls, depending on the week. Being a head counselor at Camp W means staying alert at all times. We keep an eye on all the campers, bringing a high level of energy to set the tone for the day, and just staying on schedule. That's super important. Following the schedule makes the days run smoothly, and leaving each activity on time makes sure that everyone is where they need to be at all times. Do you agree, Evan?
Absolutely. And what Christy's saying is all true, but Christy's leaving out a very important aspect of her job that I think she doesn't want to admit is the relationship and the bond that she had with her girls. I can't even tell people how many times I would see the girls hugging Christy, always wanting to be around her, whether it's at lunch or activities, or the nice phone calls or emails I would get from parents saying how wonderful Christy was with their daughter and just the nice relationship that was formed. So, Christy, I'm going to give you a compliment on this podcast. Not trying to embarrass you, but you're leaving out a very important component to your job that you are extremely good at. So that's my compliment to you. You're welcome.
No, I appreciate that. And it is really true that the campers really do create such an amazing bond throughout the 8-9 weeks of the summer that they're there. So it is really incredible.
And that's what makes my job so not complicated, but difficult during the off season, is to try and find staff that will be able to do what you've done every single year at Camp W. So, because it really starts with the counselor and building those relationships and setting the tone of the group. That being said, I got to ask you, is there a favorite tradition or event that you always look forward to at camp?
So I would say my favorite tradition is one of the new ones that's been started. And last summer we started Parents' Night, which was where parents and families came and they hung out at camp for the night. We had a really awesome dinner together, and then we continued the night on with some activities, and they got quite competitive. The parents were super involved, and it was a few staff members and parents that competed in activities. We played Nukem. The big one was Tug of War. That was a little embarrassing, right, Evan?
Well, listen, we didn't have, first of all, in defense of the staff, we weren't prepared for the parents' aggressiveness in terms of wanting to win so bad. And we didn't have, we just had some nice staff. We really didn't have physically strong people going up against people who really wanted to win the tug of war. So I actually jumped in at the end. But that was a great night. It was a great, great night. In fact, that is something that we're discussing for next summer. But you're 100% right. That was a lot of fun. I do believe, Christy, in the egg toss, you were near the end, or no? You got out at the beginning.
Yeah, no, I was near the end, and then it
fell apart. Huh?
Yeah, didn't quite work. But we also played trivia at that event, which was really awesome as well. At the end of the trivia, the person that won got $500 off for the summer, following summer. So
I think it was 200, but stop trying to give away more money. But no, I mean, it was a great night. A lot of fun, parents getting to be exposed to the fun activities that their children do every day at camp. But it was nice to build that relationship with parents and staff. So I agree with you. It was a lot of fun, definitely.
It was.
Um, if you could give one piece of advice to a first-time camper or a new staff member coming into camp, not really knowing what we're about, what would that piece of advice be?
I would say for new staff, come in with an open mind and a team player attitude. So you're coming into a camp that has so many amazing established systems where procedures just work really well. And they only work really well if everyone buys in and really follows through with everything that's already laid in place. Um, so I would say, just for example, our dismissal process, it can seem overwhelming at first, but it's actually super efficient. And once you understand it and everyone's on board, it's actually incredible that we get so many parents in, kids in the car safely and out in such short of a time.
Yeah,
It really is immaculate. So I would say that coming in with an open mind, ready to learn new things because it can be overwhelming at first where there is so much to learn. And just really coming in ready to be part of this Camp W family and getting to have those amazing relationships, not only with the campers, but also the staff as well.
That's great. And that's a really good point about being open-minded and being a team player, because at camp, all of our systems don't work unless staff buys into them. So that's a really good point that you mentioned. And on one of the other podcasts, I did discuss our dismissal process, and we were talking about how parents are like blown away how, you've got kids going home on the bus, you got kids getting picked up, you have kids in late care, and that lot empties so quickly and so efficiently, and most importantly, so safely. So I love that you brought that up. So that kind of leads me to my next question, which you almost answered a little bit, but what makes Camp W unique compared to, maybe the other camp? I know you worked in another camp previously, which I don't want you to mention the name, but what do you kind of think makes us unique and different from where you've worked before?
So I would say, like you said, I worked at another camp for quite a few summers, and it was when I was a younger kid, I would say, and it was a camp that worked well, but I was like, I don't think camp is for me anymore. And just a little bit of background, my sister worked at the camp as well with me, and she stayed a little longer than I did. I was like, camp's not for me anymore. Like, I think I'm over it. And then she eventually left that camp as well, and she started a new camp. And after her coming home quite a few days, she was like, this camp is amazing. And I sat there and I was like, yeah, okay, like it's camp, whatever. And turns out that she was at Camp W. And then the next summer, I found myself here as well. And I can truly say that it's just not like any other camp you would imagine. It's a family, like I was saying. The staff is super close. The campers return summer after summer. They truly enjoy being at camp. And there was something specific I wanted to mention. There was a camper that came to me last summer and said, Christy, why can't we have school for 2 months and go to camp for the rest of the year? And I looked at the child and I was like, you're 100% right. Like, I would totally like that much better than the current calendar and everything. So it really just is a place that welcomes new faces, appreciates those that come back, and really just is a place that everyone looks forward to. Like, even at the last day, you're so sad that you're leaving, but you're like, when am I coming back? So
yeah, that's great. And I always mention, I'm sure you remember this during the staff training, I always say the last day of camp, it's sad, we cry, and campers cry, but that's how you know you knocked it out of the park. Because if the kids are really sad and you're really sad, you know that you've made that impactful feeling for children, and that's what camp's all about. So you're echoing everything that I'm thinking about and saying during staff training. I love that. Is there something surprising about working at camp that people might not expect?
I don't want to repeat myself, but I feel like it's really how close the staff is,
Mhm.
where just something small where we have different events that you have to plan for. So week 7 is how would you describe week 7? How
Well,
would you?
I mean, we sell it to parents. It's our special events week with Color War and the carnival and all the different shows and stuff we do.
Yeah,
So,
so with Color War, it brings such a togetherness with the camp. Even though we're divided blue versus red, everyone just really comes together. So I think what I'm trying to get at is for the skits and the dance at the end, there was so much staff that stayed together at even past hours and worked cohesively to bring the best energy and the best dance to all of the campers. So just putting in that extra effort and just the familyness that
mm,
comes with the staff, that's really what I would say is something surprising that I didn't have in the other camp I worked at. It was kind of like you came to work and you went home, where you
right.
didn't have that connection. So,
Well, that's something I've certainly tried to build that culture of family within the staff because I think it's important that you know that other people have your back and they care about you and they want you to be successful at camp. And I'm going to mention this. I don't know if you're going to be. I don't think you're going to be mad, but I know about a month ago, Alyssa, one of our staff members, had a birthday, and I know you guys. A bunch of staff went out, and your sister, who actually is up at Marist, came home just for that reason. And I was so thrilled when you guys sent me pictures. It warmed my heart to be like, oh, look at my staff. There they are going out on a Saturday night, you know, and it's nothing to do with camp. And yet the bond is there. And the fact that your sister drove 2.5 hours to come home to celebrate with Alyssa and everyone was smiling and happy. And then you guys sent me pictures. I love that. And I think that just is a testament to what you're talking about being close and
mhm.
that great feeling because, that's a special bond that I love you guys have. So as we come to the close of my podcast, now is a moment to give you a shout out to your girls from last summer. So what would you like to say to them if they're listening to the podcast right now?
I mean, they know how much I love and adore them, and that's the reason I moved up with them from second grade to third grade because we just created such a bond. And these girls, some of them had been at camp for 2, 3 years even before I met them. So I came in as almost like the newbie to their group that they had, and it was just it's like a love that you don't get from anywhere else. Being a teacher, you have the appreciation for your students, you connect with them, but being at camp with these kids, it's much more than just delivering academics and being a role model toward them, but you really create that connection. And just looking at your background, it truly is where friendships are made. Like these girls are just, they're just I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, but I miss them. I hope they're doing so well. I hope third grade is treating them well, and I'm very excited to see them next summer. So,
You know, and Christy, I forgot to mention at the beginning of the podcast, and I apologize for this. You know, not only are you've been a counselor, but you know your new role as division head of middle camp now offers you the opportunity to be camp administrator and supervise while you're being a counselor, but also in the afternoon to be walking around and watching groups and watching staff and just helping out. You want to talk about that for a minute, like what you're thinking and how that role is. Obviously, it's different. There's a lot more responsibility than just being a counselor at camp.
yeah, definitely. And um, being I've had the opportunity to be head counselor for 2 summers and really get comfortable with the campers and during choice periods. I'm not sure if you've mentioned this in a previous podcast, but choice periods, you get to interact with the other kids.
Mhm.
So being in middle camp, it's second, third, and fourth graders. So I've had the chance to interact with not only my girls in my group, but others, the boys, the girls in second, third, and fourth grade. So I think this position is going to give me the opportunity to really interact with more than just my campers and give me the opportunity to oversee multiple groups and interact while also giving extra support to the counselors in those groups. So it can help ease some of their stress and ensure that they're always giving 120% to all the campers that they interact with throughout the day. So just being an extra helping hand in middle camp and making sure that everything runs smoothly and there is as little stress as possible on these counselors. So
that's great. I'm very confident that you'll be very successful this summer. So, Christy, I want to thank you for spending some time with us this morning on the podcast. It's been a pleasure. Your insightful information, your genuine care for campers. I think when people see you discussing that about your girls, I think that resonates with parents, and they see how genuinely that your care really is. And I love that about you. And I just want to thank you so much for today.
Yes, thank you so much, Evan. I appreciate you having me on the podcast. And I hope if any of my girls are watching that they know that I'm so excited to see them next summer. So
absolutely. Okay, everyone. We'll see you next time on the Camp W podcast. Bye-bye. Hip, hip, hooray!
Camp W friendships all day with your host Evan Wofsy. Yeah.